I tweak or mix this, you know. It sounds cold.
Where do you think we got it?
Yo, what are you saying? We're back again with RTSportsPodcast. I'm with my boy Connor.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. What are you saying? So another eventful weekend of football. That's why we love the beautiful game.
When is it not?
Yeah, how did you find it?
Yeah.
We'll get onto that later.
I didn't watch any. No, I didn't watch any.
But we've got to start with Man City's 8-0 win against Watford. What a performance.
The wounded beasts.
What did I say last week?
Everyone thought that it was a foregone conclusion that they were done for, they'd been found out. Now look.
I said the scariest thing's a wounded beast, man. They just come out, told you that 3-0 win against Shakhtar Donetsk, and then 8-0 against Watford.
Ask Ben Foster if they're done for.
What I saw from Ben Foster was poor. You don't want to be seeing that from an opposition player, praising the opposition after he just got beat 8-0.
Like I said to you, if I was one of Watford's fans that I travelled up to that game and then I get home and I watch Match of the Day and I see my keeper is coming out and saying stuff like, I was glad it's 5-0 at half time and that they're on a different planet, I'd be fuming because I spent all that money to go see you play and within 18 minutes we're down 5-0. I'm already on the way on.
I think sometimes things get so bad that you can only just laugh to get over it, or else you will get in a bad place.
Them fans ain't laughing.
Yeah, I saw 1-0 down in less than a minute.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You go there with a game plan. You see what the manager said before the game? He said, this was his words, he said that I like going away to these big teams because I like the planning of it. Well, you can't be very good at your job then. Because
you know what's funny, yeah? Watford had all week to plan for that game.
And he said he was enjoying it. That's one of his enjoyable parts of his job.
Man City had to fly back from where? Russia? Ukraine. They scored in the first minute.
Yeah. And it's already over then.
And the game's done. So all that game plan and everything
out the window.
But you can't blame it all on Watford. Man City, what a performance.
But then again, and that's the thing, is that people after the Watford game, they thought, is there a blueprint to beat them? Is there not?
After the Norwich game.
Is it a leaky defence? In Norwich game, yeah, so I'm sorry. And then look what happens. Because the thing is, I told you that Pep would have been at them players, they'd have been like, people are calling you a joke. People are saying that you're done. Go and show them you're not. This
is what I don't like. See, the best fuel off people criticising them. That's why they don't. That's why when you see Pep in interviews, he's not too down when they lose. He's not too up when they win because he knows what he's doing.
You hear him. He called himself Fraudiola. He's aware of the stuff around him. That's Twitter talk.
Of course, it's all fuel.
But how does a guy like that find out about Twitter talk? That guy he's watching. Yeah. We think that these players live in a bubble and they don't see stuff, but they see what's happening.
What's it? Jurgen Klopp even said that he had a burner Twitter account to see what the fans were saying. Yeah, like during the Champions League run, he was seeing all the support and everything. So they're not aware.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you think players after a good game, bad game, they don't go on Twitter and they type in their name and look at see what people are saying about.
100%. They would have been talking in dressing room about what everyone's saying. Is Liverpool's title to lose, everything like that. You know, even Pep's gone, it's Liverpool's da. But you know, inside that dressing room, they're hearing the talk, they're talking about the talk, and that's what they're using to go out there as fuel and wipe Watford out. 8-0. 5-0 in what?
18 minutes.
18 minutes.
Premier League records.
No Raheem Sterling either.
Again, but then you look, this from Sam, City squad depth is who replaced him. Well, you could say Bernardo Silva into the hat-trick. So it's like
Mahrez did well,
scored. And you look from the Norwich game to that game, De Bruyne come back in and look at that performance.
See, people say there's no gimme games at Premier League level. I'm sorry.
Certain home games.
Yeah, certain home games are
again you're talking is gimme games for who? I think the only two teams that get gimme games in the Premier League these days are Liverpool, and Man City. Because again, look at Arsenal on the weekend, struggled against Villa at home. That is one of them games where typically you go, it's a gimme game. Man United at home to Crystal Palace, typically one of them games where it's a gimme game.
See, that's the thing. I touched on it last week, and I was saying I'm happy that the squads in the top 6 bar Liverpool and City that they've strengthened a little bit. So hopefully they start taking points off the big boys in Liverpool and Man City. So it does become a better Premier League title race. So there are more teams involved. But you can see with teams like Tottenham struggling at home against Newcastle, Arsenal struggling against Aston Villa at home as well. Have they really strengthened, or have the bottom teams even like strengthened more to make it more competitive with that for the rest of the league?
Say about the bottom team strengthening, I think it's more so about the bottom teams, not bottom teams, but saying that 14 after the top 6. None of them have to let players go anymore. So it's not even about year on year. All them teams are doing now is they're building on what they've already got. You don't see them lose 3 players. You don't see them. They let one go if they want to let one go. Like Harry Maguire, Leicester let him go for 80 million.
Yeah.
It's 80 million. And
they were in control of that whole.
You see the guy that's come in, Soyuncu, that they already had him.
Yeah, they already.
And it's like, I'm not saying that it's the same level, but I'm saying it doesn't look like there's a hole in the team because they've lost a player.
Yeah. Like the bottom, I say the bottom half, they look really good now, to be honest. Like, I remember in the days of them bottom team, there was only one way they played. It was get the ball straight up to the front man, we go for second balls.
And now, when they go away to the big teams, it'd always be part of the bus.
Yeah, 2 blocks.
See how long we can keep it.
See how long we can keep it. If they go 1-0 up, that's the game done.
Set pieces.
Exactly. And even now, when these teams are going 1-0 down to the big teams, they are trying to play. It's not damage limitation straight away. Even like Newcastle at Liverpool, when they went a goal down, they still tried to play. It wasn't like, oh, the game's lost now here at Anfield, let us, 2 blocks or 4. They bring on the attacking players. They try and go for the game. Like, you see even teams like Norwich with Pookie up front. Them days it used to be like Grant Holt, get the ball up to the front man and see what we can do. But then
at the same time, I also think that has got to do with the quality these teams have in terms of what they used to have. And also, I don't agree that Man City, Liverpool, I think teams do go there and they think, how many can we keep it today? I don't think they go there to win. But I don't think they're the only 2 teams where there's not this inferior complex where if a team comes to Old Trafford now, a team goes to the Emirates, they think they can. There's not that, oh, we're playing Man United today, oh, we're playing Arsenal today, oh, we're playing Chelsea today. It's 3 points is up for grabs, the same as any game. And it never used to be like that, but it's because you have teams like, Crystal Palace are bad example because Wilfried Zaha's done nothing this season, but you have a team like Crystal Palace who have a player like Wilfried Zaha, you have a team like Leicester who have players like James Maddison, Wilfried Ndidi. They have players like this. You have these teams now, West Ham for example, have teams like Felipe Anderson, a guy that's coming from Europa League, Champions League, like
it's quite impressive.
Serie A team, coming to a team that's battling in that top 8 to 10 range.
Well, I will say, I think we need to look at the Premier League like what the Ballon d'Or race used to be like. You see, you've got Messi and Ronaldo at the top, and everyone else at the bottom trying to get up there. I think it's the same with the Premier League now. You've got Man City and Liverpool in a league of their own, and then you've got the rest battling to try and get
it's always
up there.
It's always been like that in the Premier League in terms of its cycles. So Man United, Arsenal had that cycle, then it turned to Man United, Chelsea when Mourinho come in, then after that was Man United, Man City, and it just happens that now it's...
Yeah, football's a cycle, but that's what makes it so good, isn't it? I think what I'm starting to realise is, as a fan, you've got to enjoy it whilst it's good.
Oh, trust me about
because the cycle is going to come round. Like, there's no like assurances in football.
Unless you're Sir Alex Ferguson.
Because like you even see Real Madrid and Barcelona, like what's happening to them. See, nothing is certain in football, so you have to enjoy it like while it lasts. Going on to the other standout game of the weekend, Liverpool-Chelsea. That was a very, very good game.
Weird game.
Yeah, very weird game. First half, I feel Liverpool dominated. They went there looking like...
You say dominate, see this is what I don't agree with, is that they're talking about Liverpool in terms of being this super high class team. That game was won by 2 set pieces. There was no
Okay.
brilliant play by Liverpool.
But
You can grind that result out.
Yeah, but you say that. I feel like that's how those games are supposed to be. It's not meant to be an easy game where Liverpool go to Chelsea and absolutely dominate the ball, chances galore. Like, you even saw Man City when they went away there last year and they dominated but lost. So I feel like that's how those games should be, those top 6 games should be. It should be tight, it should be scrappy in parts, because it's only going to be like moments of defensive lapses like we saw from Chelsea and we even saw from Liverpool not pressing the ball and Kante being able to do what he did that differentiate the two teams.
I just don't think you look at that game and you think another Liverpool win, another, it keeps rolling. I look at that game and I think, again, like I told you last week, that defence is not as sure as what it used to be. I don't care what anyone says. Chelsea, the goal that got disallowed, bearing in mind he's literally a yard off his offside, but it's not an unlucky offside, it's the fact that he was just lazy not coming back on. If he's come back on, it's not like he's made the run and he's been caught offside. Mason Mount has been lazy there. If he was, the goal would happen if he was a yard here anyway. So that goal would happen if he was offside or onside. It's not a run that he's made and you've caught him offside. So that one there is down to the attacker, not down to the defence. It's not like you played well there to get him offside.
But what I will say is Liverpool dominated the majority of the game. Like, for example, it's not all about who had the most chances.
Yeah, but did Chelsea have better chances? They did.
No, but it's not. You dominate a football match by possession, the way you play, the way you control the big moments, and I believe Liverpool did that better than what Chelsea did. For example, Matic was man of the match. There's a reason for that. Liverpool defended well when they needed to defend well. At the end of the day, the goal that went in was Kante's unbelievable strike. I believe Liverpool did manage the game in a way they needed to manage.
Again, you say this, just like the Southampton game, if Ings scores at the end, you're not praising Matic, you're not praising Van Dijk. Just like this game, there was the Batshuayi chance, there was the Mason Mount chance, both in the last 5 minutes. One of them should have scored. Mason Mount definitely should have scored. If he scores where he should score, Matic's not getting man of the match.
Okay, yeah, but that's
down to luck.
Yeah, but no. That's down to quality. For example, you see Batshuayi and Mason Mount were the two people at the end of the chances. If you say put Firmino and Mane at the end of them chances, it's a different story.
But
so at the end of the day,
them.
It's all about quality and the taking of chances. You can create 20 chances a game and only score 2. So at the end of the day, it's about the quality at the end of those chances. That's what I will say. And in terms of quality, I would say Manchester United, West Ham was really low on quality that game. And this is where I think Manchester United are not...
What you say?
The top, they need to be careful, because I think right now they're in danger of slipping out of that top 6.
I said this to you earlier. Right now, as a Man United fan, I'm not looking in front of me anymore. I'm looking more behind me, because There's no way of bridging the gap to City or Tottenham. No, City or Liverpool. Sorry. Even Tottenham, there's no way of bridging that gap. But I look at the teams behind us. West Ham could be in that category of being one of the teams behind us, and we just got beat by them. But a team like Leicester, I look at. If you looked at on paper the teams together, I think you take more players out of the Leicester team than you would the Man United team.
Because you know what?
Which is crazy.
Watching that West Ham Man United game, West Ham started the game as a home team. They started the game poorly.
It was awful. That game was awful.
And usually, what you see from the top teams is if anyone below their quality isn't up for it on the day, the top 6 take them straight away. You saw that at Chelsea Wolves. Anyone below the quality of the top 6, if they are lethargic and slow to get started, the top 6 take advantage of that. At the end of the day, you've got the better players. So you take advantage of that and you wipe the floor with them. But what I saw from Man United was a matching momentum. So West Ham were playing poorly, Man United matched them. West Ham playing poorly at home was a time for United to go, alright, it isn't what we think. Because you go away to West Ham, you think, this is going to be a tough game. West Ham didn't start well, and you expect Man United to start to play their way into it.
But I think people need to stop talking about Man United as Man United. Man United ain't Man United anymore. It pains me to say that we're not. You say Man United to take the game with a scruff of the neck. Who was on that pitch to do it? No one is on that pitch that's good enough to do it. Andres Pereira, shocking. McTominay, shocking. Matic, shocking. Mata, shocking. Rashford, shocking. James, shocking.
Yeah, you say
one of them.
Yeah.
What one?
It's true.
6 of them players.
6 of them players, and then you look at the 6
who actually get into any other top 6 team out of them players.
And you look at the attacking
Not
players.
one. There ain't one.
And you look at, let's say, the midfield forward. You see West Ham's lineup: Declan Rice, Yarmolenko, Mark Noble, Pablo Fornals, Felipe Anderson, Haller. That is looking better than Manchester United's lineup.
I'm not even gonna lie, it probably cost more. If you think about it, Rashford was youth, McTominay was youth, Pereira youth. It probably cost more, which isn't anything because Man United spent money, but you then go back and you look at how Man United finished the game. You played Jesse Lingard up front because they never striker on the bench.
I think,
and then you're playing a team at West Ham who have got a £45 million striker playing up front. It's like,
I think at Man United, it's time for people to start taking responsibility for their own actions instead of worrying about the people below them. For example, Ed Woodward, since he's been there, has there been any improvement?
But any improvement, it's been a complete disaster.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, people want to blame the Glazers. They want to blame them. But when Alex Ferguson was there, it was fine.
But you can't talk about Alex Ferguson because he was a genius. He made
for me, okay, that's what I mean. For me, you can have the owners, but if they put the right people there to manage the club, then things will be fine.
I want to show you something actually. To
So,
show you how much of a genius that Sir Alex Ferguson was.
So what I will say, from Man United, I do expect to see better. And like what I heard Jamie Carragher say, you can't just say, oh, Man United, and expect them to turn up. At the end of the day, you have to look at what you've got.
Yeah, exactly.
And what you've got is simply not good enough. You see it in a place of work. If someone's not good enough, you get rid of them. You need to replace. And I believe the recruitment is a massive thing.
It's the biggest part. It's the biggest part in a football club. It really is. And the whole problem with this is you've got a glorified accountant that is overruling 100%. Managers. You look at last season. This sums it up perfectly. Last season, Mourinho was sulking the whole pre-season because he wanted the centre back. He wanted Harry Maguire specifically. Wanted Harry Maguire. Went to Ed Woodward and went, I want Harry Maguire. He looked at him, got quoted 60 million for it. He said, no, we're not dropping 60 million on a player that was bought 15 million the season before. So then what happens? This summer, they then go and buy him for 80. So you spent 20 million more, you've got the exact same player a year later. And you're the accountant, you're not a football man. You're not. You don't know nothing about football.
This is what I mean.
And you're overruling someone that's won Champions League, won Premier Leagues. Even though it didn't go well, you're still overruling someone that's had a whole career in football when you have had a whole career in the stock market. You're a fraud, you're an idiot.
This is what I mean by it matters who's in the places of authority. For example, like Jurgen Klopp said last night when he won the FIFA Manager of the Year, he said, as a manager, I'm only as good as my players are. And he went on and thanked Michael Edward, who is our sporting director, who does help him go out and get the players.
The difference there is sporting director. Yeah. Again, it's not just Ed Woodward. This way is the Glazers, because at the end of the day, the Glazers make the decisions, and they're the one that got that idiot in charge of football-related stuff. So you look at the proper teams, you look at you, and you look at City. They have either a sporting director or a chief exec or someone where it's split up, where you've got the financial side of the club and the sporting side of the club. We, as a club, Man United, the biggest club in the world, have got an idiot running both at the same time. And he should be moved over to the financial side because he's the best at it. That's the one thing you give him credit for is, again, they just come out with Man United's turnover for the quarter, 615 million or something stupid like that, which don't come at a great time because you've just lost on the pitch and then you're coming out talking about the financial state of the club. But all it takes is for someone to come in who has an idea of football to run the football side of things.
What I will say is that sometimes people need to take responsibility, and maybe it's time for Ed Woodward to just walk. To be honest,
Not even walk.
Because you're seeing, allow someone else
The guy went from being the financial operator of the club, and he got promoted to being chief exec. He was already in the club when David Gill was there, but he was running the financial side of things. And now he's gone to chief exec, and he's still doing that with someone under him.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's running the football side of things when he has no idea of football. And the guy is making the decisions on who we sign, when we sign them, if we sign them. You bring in a sporting director that even Salford have. They've got a sporting director. A club in League Two have got a sporting director that decides what players, because at the end of the day, and I agree with it to an extent, is when you have a sporting director and he decides who he comes in and brings the players in, that sporting director is going to be there for 5 years, 10 years. Managers aren't there. So when you're operating like we do, and we have a manager that comes in and tells the players that he wants, and then at the end of the day you've got this idiot having the final say, who says he can come but he can't. So then you've got players from one manager, players from another manager, players from another manager. Then the manager comes in and tries to group them all together. And then his own ideas come in, where he then wants to get rid of half of them because they don't fit his philosophy.
Yeah.
When you have a sporting director that runs the recruitment and brings in players that he thinks best suit the club for how the club wants to play, because again, what do people say about Solskjaer is that he's taking the club back to its roots and he's bringing young players through and he wants to play that Man United style of play that hasn't been played now for 7-8 years. Don't let your manager do that. If you want it to be a fabric of the club, then set up the club so it is that. Don't have some idiot that's at the top of the club then wanting to make all these different changes and want these different players in for different managers when he has no idea about football. Let him run the financial side because he's the best. And this is why you just said a minute ago, I think you said, don't blame the Glazers. Blame the Glazers because one, all they care about is money. They don't turn up to half the games. They don't care. And the reason why they don't care is we spoke about, didn't we, the finance in the Premier League. And you can finish first and get however much, but you could also finish sixth and there's only a 5 million, 10 million difference. Ed Woodward can make that up in a Chinese tyre sponsor.
But what I'm saying is, Ed Woodward is the one in charge. He's the one they've left to run the football club. So at the end of the day, the Glazers are there making their money, right? Ed Woodward's the one in charge. So he needs to take some responsibility. If he himself knows he cannot do this job, he's there every week watching the games, he needs to have a word.
The guy's ignorant, he thinks he can do the job.
This is the problem. So the people around him or him himself or Ollie needs to have a word. I think it's hard because Ollie's a bit of like...
a puppet?
Yeah, because you know, like when you're talking
exactly
about Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Maguire being happy that they've got the job.
Yeah.
It's the same with Ollie. He's happy, he doesn't want to go and fight against the power and things like that. He needs to have a word. Because
that's the thing that annoys me the most is because again, he comes out after the game and he goes, we had chances.
And he said we're not too far off.
That annoys me the most out of anything. I want my manager to come out and say, they were all good today. We are shocking.
You were so far off.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think football's now too big for a manager to manage everything. Like, he needs to solely be able to just focus on coaching the players. And at the end of the day, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how good of a coach you are, those players are not good enough to be coached. No. For example, I was watching Matic play. I was thinking, you have the defence not trusting the midfield, and then you've got the midfield not even wanting it.
I told you at the start of the season, what did I say before the season? The bits that were crying out of that team was an attacking midfielder, because that's where Jesse Lingard's playing and he's awful, can't play for Man United. He cannot be the starting attacking midfielder in a top 6 club, especially not Man United. And then you go to the midfield and you've got Matic in there that he's lost his legs completely. It's like he's running in mud. And I said to you, didn't I say before the season started, when we're playing pre-season, I said to you, they need someone in midfield and they need someone there. And then they come out and say, not the right players fit the right time. Shut up. You're not Liverpool, you're not Man City. You can't pick and choose what players you want when you're battling against Leicester now. You are battling for top 6, not even top 4 anymore. That's gone. That is gone. I've given up with that because that's not happening. Because there's going to
it would be a massive achievement if Man United do finishing in the
How
top
many
4.
more games like West Ham will happen?
Yeah, but
5,
what I will
6,
say,
7, there's
what I will
easily
say
more.
is that there's a lot of teams in that bracket, to be honest, that you're not too sure of if they are going to be able to get top 4. Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham and United are all fighting.
But them three are all more sure bets than Man United, 100%.
Yeah, you can say that, but you can't for sure. Let's wait to see what happens when Pogba and Martial are back, and let's see.
Again, 2 characters that you think, what Pogba's coming back, what Martial's coming
Yeah,
back.
well, we'll see. You can only keep the faith. You never know in football, because I'm sorry, but if teams like Leicester can do what they're doing, there's no excuse for Manchester United. So we move on from this Man United debate, as it's getting a little bit hot in here from this guy.
I'm trying so hard not to swear.
Did you see Arsenal's result? Fair play to Arsenal. Aubameyang came up with the goods. That sending off from Maitland-Niles. Did you see the second tackle?
Yeah.
All ball, just on a follow through that he caught him. Maitland-Niles even got injured, like limped up.
Yeah, so.
Second booking wasn't.
Sometimes I do debate whether he's limping off out of guilt and he's trying he's trying to, but I don't know.
But you know what? From what Arsenal have been through the last few weeks, it was a great result to pull that out of that bag.
It don't matter how you do it, either 3 points.
Yeah, 3 points is 3 points. I think it was a big call for Pepe to take that penalty.
I was going to say this to you. It's like I see a load of people absolutely slating Aubameyang because he's the penalty taker. Maybe he's not anymore. Maybe that's because Pepe took penalties.
Yeah, but I know when he was really
so
good,
you don't know if he's the designated penalty or whether Aubameyang's gave it to him. But I personally, I don't know where I am with it, because if it's Harry Kane taking that penalty, he's telling Pepe to go do one, I'm taking the penalty.
No, but
and people say about Aubameyang gave it to him to give him confidence and all this kind of stuff, but if it's Aguero, same thing. You look at Sterling when he was on a hat-trick against West Ham.
Yeah.
He could have easily went, you take it, get your hat-trick. He was like, I've got a golden ball that I need to win this year. No, go away.
Yeah, but what
it's like
Aubameyang strikes me as that kind of person that he's not all for the limelight, like he's all for helping the team.
No, but
and he has missed penalties for Arsenal before.
Yeah, and then you've also seen him go missing in big games.
Yeah,
there's a big game player with that, because it's a mentality thing. It definitely is.
Because
Aguero,
I don't believe you can say that, to be honest, because he steps up for that free kick and scores to make it 3-2.
A free kick's not hot.
So but at the end of the day, he's given the penalty to Pepe. Pepe scored, and he's taken the free kick and they've won 3-2. So at the end of the day, Aubameyang's had a massive effect on that football match.
That's not what I'm saying, because I don't know whether I sit on where I'm like, because he has been a team player there where he's like, you take it, I'm not thinking about myself. But at the same time, as a centre forward, do you want someone who's selfish as your centre forward, and you think, because they're the ones that are cutthroat, they're the ones that stay for 10-15 years scoring goals every season.
I think Aubameyang is different with Arsenal. I don't
know. I think again he might be one of them people that are too nice, and when you look at Arsenal's team, are they too nice?
Yeah, you can say that, but at the end of the day, you can't. I'm really weary of putting too much criticism on Aubameyang, because he has been Arsenal's best player in not the best period, and he did have a massive effect in that football match. And where would Arsenal be without Aubameyang?
I mean,
and even now,
we both sat here and said that Lacazette's better. So
yeah, we did. But to be honest, if you look at Aubameyang's goal record, it's difficult to say that. And now Pepe's got a goal under his belt.
A penalty.
A goal's a goal at the end of the day. He's put the ball at the back of the net. Who knows what that's going to do for his confidence? So that moment might be a massive moment in Arsenal's season. Because Pepe should be a massive player for them.
I can see both sides of it, of you want your striker to be, no, this is mine. Because again, what happens is, Arsenal have a good season and 4th. But say they had a bad season, 5th, and it comes to the end of the season, Aubameyang's 1 goal off winning. And he thinks, and then it's like, you haven't won the golden ball, but you could have done if you just took that penalty.
But you can say that he could have won the golden boot if he finished them chances away at Burnley at the end of the season. So at the end of the day, you can only think of the moment. You can't think too far ahead. At Liverpool, we are so lucky that Firmino's as unselfish as he is, because he allows Mane and Salah to propel their games and allows them to do what they do. Aubameyang, what he's done for Pepe might mean that Pepe goes on and scores 15 goals this season. You never know. So yeah, it was good to see Arsenal come out on top.
What do you actually think of Arsenal?
I think their team going through transition. I believe there's a lot of old habits.
This is the
still
problem,
there.
Is I look at Arsenal, it's very similar to Man United in that I don't know how you get round it. Because you look at Arsenal past 5 years and all their fans have ever wanted is a centre half, yeah, and they've wanted defensive midfielder, right? Because everyone always looks at Arsenal like they're 2 players away, like they're the 2 players they need, and it'll make them so much more defensively stronger, and it'll give them character and all that kind of stuff. We always say that about Arsenal, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
But what have they done in the last 5 years? They bought a World Cup winner, centre-back, Mustafi. They're all delighted when they signed him. But it's almost like these players, they come with their own characters and everything. Torreira, another one, defensive midfielder that they're crying out for. Then they come to Arsenal, it's like, they suddenly buy into the Arsenal culture, and it's like it's so weird to me. It's like,
you know what?
You bring in players and then they get into that culture, and it's like, how do you get around it? Because then Arsenal buy them players and then they've still got the same problems.
I think what it is you need to have a strong core to buy these players around, if you know what I mean. So, for example...
No, but I just think old habits die hard. And it's like, I don't know how you get around it without getting a whole another 11 players, because you've still got players from the Wenger era there that have still got that...
Yeah, I think you get around... I think they slowly get around it, to be honest.
It takes time, it does.
For example, they've got Tierney coming back and Bellerin. That's going to make a massive difference to their side. Arsenal don't look as bad as the results may say. To be fair, I saw them at Anfield, and in parts, I believe, I thought, things are changing. Let's not forget, against Watford, they were 2-0 up and cruising.
Second half.
Yeah, and an awful second half.
And then
but I feel like as the season goes on, and they do, for example, Maitland-Niles isn't a right back. They're getting Bellerin back. They have Kolasinac playing in the back 4. He's not a defender by trade, to be honest. He's more of a wing back. They get Tierney back in there, and they start to look good. When Doozy didn't play well against Watford last week, but he put in a good performance against Aston Villa. You've got Aubameyang, Lacazette's now injured. You've got players like Pepe. I think in the next few years, Arsenal can do something. And when people say teams are so far off, I don't believe that is the case. For example, we went out and got Alisson, Van Dijk, and things changed like straight away. I believe Arsenal are in the process of doing that, and they're not too far away from where they want to be. And I think it's just a gradual process.
I just don't buy it. I just think there is like a toxic culture at Arsenal where it's like the players. It's almost weird when you look at a fixture list and you see Arsenal away. Do you ever think they're going to win? Because I don't. I always have some sort of optimism that they'll lose.
Yeah, but I think personally, that's changing because.
But is it though? They just went to Watford and they got absolutely battered second half.
Yeah, they got battered second half, but I feel like they are going to have moments like that because of the players that are available to them at the moment. Attacking wise, they're fine. To be fair, they've always been fine, and they have gone out and tried to identify places that need strengthening. Bellerin is coming back. That's going to be a massive thing.
And
like I say, Tierney's a quality left back. He's going to change things as well. So I believe Arsenal aren't too far off where they need to be. The football will always be there, but I think defensively is something they need to rectify. But I believe when you've got your best players back, it's something you can start.
But this is what I'm saying about
to change
the Arsenal culture of it being like they bring players in. There's something that they adopt the we don't want it anymore like type mentality. Like you see, you've got a World Cup winner in Mustafi comes there and he's still the same. It's like he can't rejuvenate. I think it's weird saying it, but I think it changes if you get someone like Jose Mourinho in, where it's like he will come in and they'll play some of that attacking stuff, but it will be fundamentally just getting it like stable. They're like they're really good to watch, but it's almost got instability about it as well.
Yeah, I think with a little bit of stabilising in the defence, I think Arsenal.
But I think Jose Mourinho in a way is almost, it's like the most opposite way of being perfect for him, because like he's so un-Arsenal like that it'd almost be really good for him.
Yeah,
because they've got
it will change the culture.
I can't put my finger on it.
And you know what? It would start. I think there needs to be like a kind of seriousness about Arsenal, because I think when Arsene Wenger was there, they got too used to the same old. Yeah, nice. And I believe, like, for example, Ozil, the contract situation happened at a really bad time for Arsenal when Chamberlain had just left. Alexis Sanchez was leaving, so they were forced to keep
Ramsey going.
Yeah, they were forced to keep Ozil, and you don't really want a player like that around the dressing room who's lackadaisical, just turns up when he wants. So I believe Arsenal were unfortunate with like things like that, but I think slowly they're starting the rebuild, and I think it will change. But I think Jose Mourinho would be a really good manager for Arsenal.
I just think it'd be such a culture shock that it'd almost be good for them, and it'd get their players out of being that nice thing. Because you look at the Aston Villa result is a good result, but it's also almost the most Arsenal-like. How many times over the years have you seen them losing at home and they end up winning?
Yeah.
It's like, and it has that climax feeling to it where like they go into the last 10-15 minutes 1-1 and you always know they're going to win. They'll win regardless, but it's like, it's not stable.
Yeah, it's almost like you could, if Mourinho was to come in, you could be like, he focuses on the defence and you just allow the attacking players to play, because they are good enough just to let them play, and they have got good young players coming through. So I think Arsenal are in a good place right now. It is a good project for.
If you look at Mourinho as well, is wherever he's gone, is that he's always had players that, like, when Mourinho thrives, it's when he's got world class players up front, because he can sort out the defence and he lets them go. Like, so when he had Hazard at Chelsea, he let him go do his thing. I reckon it'd be the exact same thing with Aubameyang type, where he'd be like, you front three, one of your track back maybe.
Yeah, but I say
let the other two just do their thing.
Give Emery another year or two, and see what's going on.
Well, I see their fans say hate him.
Yeah, but I feel
half it's because he's ugly as well.
Well, I feel for Arsenal because they have been going through a very bad spell, and I believe when you see bad results, it is the first thing to do is to criticise and jump on the manager's back. But I think the Arsenal fans with a head on them will think, you know what, we are getting a few players back. Let's see where this takes us. But on that, as we've just talked about Arsenal and Man United, that is a fixture that's coming up next week. Where is it? At Old Trafford?
Yeah.
See, I only see one winner here, and that's Man United. Because I do not remember a time where Arsenal have gone to Old Trafford.
I mean, last year we drew 2-2.
Even then, Arsenal should have won and still didn't get the result. The last time I believe Arsenal getting a result at Old Trafford that I can remember was when Danny Welbeck was that the FA Cup?
Yeah.
Bar that, every time Arsenal go to Old Trafford, it's same old. This is the time for Arsenal to make a statement and go, you know what, we are better than Man United.
I think I view it as it's a weird one. I either see it going very well or absolutely shocking. I either see it being we win 2-0, 3-0, be really comfortable, or they get absolutely battered off the pitch and it's 3-4. That's the, It's like I don't see it being. I don't know. It's a weird game and I'm not looking forward to it. I am not looking forward to this game at all.
I think Arsenal fans should look forward to it because I think it's time for them. This is a moment for them to make a statement and go, you know what, we're going to leave the United behind, and we're only going to look forward from now. We can't. We're just going to leave them behind us.
There ain't a better time to play Man United either.
No, there's not. But you say that could also be a scary thing, because imagine if Arsenal go there and lose, then it's all back downhill again. Everyone's heads drop, and you have to pick up and go again. I think it's time for consistency for these teams now. We're getting to the next international break. You want to make a statement before the next international break, so then you can then kick on. Because I believe after this international break, The next one is a while to the next one. Yeah, so it's time to put a statement down and build some momentum.
When obviously the Christmas fixtures come start.
Start coming thick and fast.
Well, actually, I don't think we're doing that anymore.
Oh yeah, but there's a break, right?
Yeah, but like certain teams play on one weekend and certain teams play on the other, or something like that.
We'll see how that goes. Anyway,
but then going back, you just said about stability. I think Tottenham included as well, sort of. I think they'll come good eventually, but Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, Tottenham. It's so weird that there's such an instability about the results. Is that it makes me question whether people always think top 6, and you have obviously Liverpool, Man City, they occupy 2 of the 4 Champions League spots, and it's almost like a given that 2 out of them 4 teams will then occupy the other 2. But is that actually the case this year? I don't know if I see someone outside of the top 6 breaking into that top 6. I actually think it's likely. I think a team like Leicester will break into the top 6 this season. And I see Man United being the ones falling out. I think that it'll be a shocking season, but
I think West Ham, I believe, they even got quality players on the bench. And to be honest, Declan Rice would get into a lot of those teams quite easily.
Okay, yeah. So
they're forward players. Like, you see their team against Manchester United with Yarmolenko and players like that, Fornals, Felipe Anderson. Lanzini wasn't even available. And they've even got a settled back 4. And I think, the 2 centre-backs of Bonner and Diop, they're centre-backs that, as the season goes on, they will get better.
There's also mistakes in them.
Yeah, there's also mistakes in them, but what centre-backs are there not mistakes in the Premier League, to be honest? They've got Fredericks at right back, Cresswell at left back. I think they've got a stable side, and I believe they even have more quality than that Leicester side.
Really?
Yeah, I believe they do.
So I don't agree. We'll go. Just take it off both teams, okay? Look at Leicester's team. How many of Leicester's team get into the? We'll leave you 2 out of it. Leave City, Liverpool out of it.
Yeah.
How many of their players get in to Arsenal, Tottenham, Man United, Chelsea? You've got the 2 fullbacks, quality, both get into both teams. I don't care what you say, Chilwell, Pereira, both get into both teams, all of them teams, I think.
Yeah.
Then you go to the midfield, Wilfred and Ndidi, Tielemans, who hasn't had a great season, but still Tielemans, and James Maddison. I take all 3 of them in Man United. All 3 of them would walk into our midfield. I take their midfield over Arsenal for any day of the week. Again, Wilfred and Ndidi, you're telling me he's not getting an Arsenal team? 100%. Tottenham's team? 100%. Chelsea's team? You got Kante, Jorginho, but perhaps James Maddison gets in all of them easy. And then you go up front, Jamie Vardy's getting on, fair enough, but he still scores. Last season he scored 18 Premier League goals.
Yeah.
We didn't have one player that did that. So again, you look at that, and then what have we got on the wings? You've got Iosi Perez, he had a great season, but still £30 million. Harvey Barnes, fair enough. But they've got, again, you look at them, so them 2, they play on the bench.
I just see like West Ham, Manuel Pellegrini, he's won the league with Man City, and I believe like teams like West Ham, when they don't have cup competitions as well, as long as they get their home form sorted, so as long as they're strong at home and you know that every home game is going to be a hard game at West Ham, I think they've got the team to absolutely like demolish teams on the counter-attack. Because you've got players like Lanzini, Fornals, Felipe Anderson, you've got Declan Rice sitting in there. There's not many better holding midfielders than Declan Rice. And you see, I think the only problem they may have is if they do get an injury up top. It's the same with Leicester, to be honest. If they get an injury to Jamie Vardy, you think, what's coming in? But I think them 2 teams, Leicester and West Ham,
Who do you think's finished high? Leicester finished high all day long.
I believe maybe most probably Leicester, because I'll simply say just because of Maddison and Jamie Vardy, that partnership. But I believe
I think the two. I
don't trust Everton. Everton's consistency is just all over the shop.
Everton have done. Don't forget about them. But I'm talking the fullback partnership of Chilwell Pereira. I think better than City's. I think they've got the second best fullback partnership.
No.
Look,
if Mendy's fit, you're not telling me Mendy and Walker. Nah, you're not.
I think they are. For consistency, I think they are.
Nah, that's outrageous.
Nah, I think they are.
That's outrageous.
It's either 2 or 3. They've definitely got the third or second. Second, I'll agree, it's debatable because again, but I don't think Mendy's even. You see how many games he's played the past year.
I don't even say it's Zinchenko.
No,
yeah.
I don't rate him at all.
Come on, man. He hasn't lost it since the game at Norwich. He hadn't lost a game playing fullback at Man City. So you can't tell me he's that much of a liability.
They don't defend them much.
Let's not get carried away with Leicester.
I'm not getting carried away, but okay, so you agree it's the third best?
Because to be honest, they went to Old Trafford, and I didn't see much of them. So these teams, these Leicesters, West Hams, and Evertons, you're not quite sure until like the season really gets into rhythm, like you see when we get into them Christmas games. That's when you'll start to see. But to be honest, you can only be impressed by the likes of West Ham and Leicester at the moment. I think Everton need to buck their ideas up because they do have quality players as well.
The manager be gone, so.
Yeah, so they need to buck their ideas up because it is a chance and it is an opportunity to break into the top 6. And I feel that's what the owners of these clubs have seen, that wow, there is an opportunity to get up there because of the lack of consistency in the top 6. So they have spent money on the squads, but it's time that the players also realise it, that the Everton players realise it, that we can do something this season. We'll see where it takes them. Moving on to the World XI. We've seen Jurgen Klopp win FIFA Manager of the Year, Messi win Player of the Year, and we've seen Alisson win Goalkeeper of the Year, and De Ligt win Defender of the Year.
Did he really win it?
I think De Ligt won Defender of the Year, and wait, no.
Surely Van Dijk.
Yeah, Van Dijk win Defender of the Year. I think De Jong won Midfield of the Year. But does Messi deserve it? I believe Messi deserves it. Like, his goal scoring record and assist record was a joke. He also won the double, and he is simply the best player on the planet. And this is where, like, I'm not sure about these awards, whether they should even
because that's
exist,
the thing.
to be honest.
It's an award based off an opinion. I don't think what awards should be given out. It's like awards should be clear cut. So it's because again, best player in the world is an opinion, and sometimes it is clear cut, sometimes it isn't. But when you look at top goal scorer, golden ball, stuff like that, it's done by the player who scores the most goals. You can't argue who scored the most. And when it comes to like opinions like this, it's like, so do you go for someone who's won the Champions League, in which case that's out of all these players that compete for that same prize, there's only one team who wins it. So is it that every year the Ballon d'Or winner or this award, the player comes out of that team? Because is it only fair that, well, they've won the biggest prize, so surely a player from that team should win it? Or then is it down to someone's ability, and that you look at Messi and you see he scored more than everyone else, even though his team didn't win the Champions League, he won his domestic league, and it's like, so which one do you rate higher? Because then again, you look at Van Dijk, he took his team to the Champions League final, he was a big part of that team,
and he did beat Messi's
Barcelona. Yeah. So again, that's what I don't agree with, is because then you look at the full team, and then you've got Mbappe in there, who one is domestic league, that by the way is the French league and has no opposition to them winning it. They win it every year regardless if he plays or not.
See, that's where I think Mbappe's got into it in terms of ability and popularity. But the problem is, if you do it solely on ability, then you'll need players like Neymar in it who haven't done anything. So it's like, where do you find it? Well, yeah, exactly. Where do you find
the middle ground?
The middle ground in terms of ability and performance. For example, I think it's almost engraved that Real Madrid
players
have to be in it.
Well, we talked about this earlier. So Marcelo's in it, the left back.
Yeah.
Ramos in it, the centre back. You look, they had an absolute shocking, to their standards anyway, a shocking Champions League campaign. Went out to Ajax, went out to Ajax just by a fluke. They got battered both games. They did.
Yeah.
So they went out against Ajax in what was it, last 16, something like that.
Yeah.
So they went out early in the Champions League, which if you're looking at that as being a level of where you sort of get into the team, like if you do well in the Champions League, you'll get in. Well, they didn't do well in the Champions League, so they haven't got in on that barometer. Then you look at their domestic campaign. Where'd they finish? Fourth in life. That's right.
Third or fourth.
Yeah, so they didn't win their league. They didn't win a cup. And then I said to you earlier, Marcelo played 24 out of the 38 La Liga games.
I think it's embarrassing that Robertson did not get into that.
Well, yeah.
Or Trent didn't get into that. Because
again,
I saw that Ramos hasn't played right back in how many years? 4 or 5 years? And he got right back in the team. So I think it's disrespectful to players like Trent and Robbo. And I believe some people get in it just because of their name, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I think they're thinking we can't put Scottish and Andy Robertson at left back. So it is embarrassing on FIFA's part, to be honest.
But again, with this team, is you look at the metrics of how it's done. We looked at it and see 25% of the vote is fans, 25% is coaches, 25% is players, and 25% is journalists. So you could say that out of 3 of them 4, players, coaches, fans are all biased to who they like.
Mm-hmm.
And in some respects, journalists will be as well, because you'll have Italian journalists, Spanish journalists that will be voting for the Spanish players.
Like, tell me who Ronaldo voted for again?
Oh God, De Ligt, De Jong, and I can't remember who else.
Exactly, De Ligt and De Jong for best player. This should be a statement. It's like this every year, to be honest. The people running for the award should not be allowed to vote.
Because again, I don't blame Ronaldo because people, they see the outrage on Twitter, it's like, oh, why is he doing that, he's an idiot. Well no, if you were up for an award as well, why would you then vote for your biggest competition?
At the end of the day, it's attitudes like that from Ronaldo that's what's got him to the top. Ronaldo's saying to himself, I'm sorry, why am I going to vote for my counterpart when I'm going against him?
You just seen Ronaldo's documentary where he spoke 10 minutes about Messi saying, he is my only competition, me and him are levels above everyone else. He knows it in his head.
He's not going to then go fuel the debate and vote for Messi to win it. It's not happening. So for me, the 3 that are up for it should not be allowed to vote. It just shouldn't happen because you do get a vote like that. And to be honest, I'm not going to hate on Ronaldo for that. But I do believe that Messi is the best player in the world. He does deserve to win it. You can't argue against him winning it. Yeah, there's an argument for Van Dijk, but I think there's more an argument of the FIFA Team of the Year. But to be honest, we know who the best is. The players know who the best is. They don't need an award for that. You can just tell you can't take this seriously. You can't take it seriously at all.
Again, going back to the old Marcelo Ramos thing, is that we just said about ability and achievements. Even though it pains me to say it, you look at Andy Robertson and Trent, they both got how many assists between them in the Premier League? So that's like an ability point of view, is you've seen their output, and then the achievements is that they won the Champions League. So they have both covered. So how can you actually say that Marcelo, who spent half the year on the bench, or Ramos, who was a part of the defence, had the 8th best league defence in the Liga. You
can't really look at it.
You can't take it seriously.
Nah, when you've got it's just one of them things. Like even Jurgen Klopp said, if Pochettino would have won the Champions League, he would have been the one up there.
But again,
so you can't.
Again, you look at it, and this only hurts FIFA because it just makes their awards less credible.
Yeah.
Because people look at the people that are in the Team of the Year and they think, well, this is a joke. And then you look at you go to the Ballon d'Or, because who talks about the 5th pro? Who talks about the 5th pro player? No one does. Everyone talks about who's going to win the Ballon d'Or, and that is because the Ballon d'Or is solely voted by journalists.
Yeah.
Who out of them 4, are going to be, there will be some bias in it, but they're going to be the least biased out of coaches, players and fans.